my god, he's so cute. The little red cloak. Fabulous. Okay. The Toadish connoisseur is pleased. Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are playing Shakespeare's Code, Season 1, Episode 6. So let's begin. Have you prayed tonight, Desdemona? Play. Shakespeare's Code, Episode 6, By the Balcony. Like Romeo and Juliet, By the Balcony. The parchment reads Balcony. Wheezing, Eugenie lay on the ground. The women moved to help her, but Joanne sharply stopped them. Don't you dare! If she is possessed or under some sinister influence, touching her is forbidden. We wait for Rogers. And so we waited. A minute stretched into several, until familiar faces came into view. At last. What's going on here? But catching sight of Eugenie, Ralph wasted no time waiting for answers. He approached her immediately. She needs to be taken to the hospital. Absolutely not. What if she's possessed? Isn't the infirmary the very place where such things are purged? Ralph's resolve was unshakable. There was a latent steel in him that emerged when he was angry. It was a shame I couldn't discern his sin. Ralph is right, Joanne. Rogers refused to bring Christopher Marlowe here. A possessed soul cannot be left roaming the streets. As you say. The others were still restless, whispering among themselves. Only Edmund appeared composed. Allow me, I'll carry her. He gestured toward Eugenie. Be my guest? Edmund stepped forward, kneeling down, and gently gathered her into his arms. The townswomen immediately began to sing the pirate's praises. Observe them. It's Diamond Rush, so everything is free. I decided to observe the scene. I wanted to gauge the crowd's reaction. To understand their fears, their thoughts, who they would blame. Regina's sly gaze landed on the frightened Thomasina, the very woman she had accused mere moments ago. She claimed Thomasina was the one who had harmed Eugenie. I didn't expect to see that side of Regina. She seemed willing to go to any length to achieve her goal. That was when I noticed Desdemona. Standing apart from the others, she looked deeply troubled. Could it be she fears her prayers will be discovered? Desdemona was a Catholic. Among Puritans, such a faith wasn't merely unacceptable, it was deadly. Her lips moved in barely perceptible murmurs, and I would have wagered my soul. She was praying once more to the Virgin Mary. Joanne's stern voice shattered the silence that had settled over the scene. Seize her and take her to the hospital at once. She pointed directly at the terrified Thomasina. What is the meaning of this? She was seen with Eugenie, and just now I saw something fall from her pocket. It's not mine, I swear. I don't know what you're talking about. Silence. If Edward or Ralph had intended to protest, they weren't given the chance. The man, clearly agitated, grabbed Thomasina by the arms and dragged her away. Regina's expression betrayed no hesitation, no flicker of doubt. She was utterly confident in her actions. It seems Regina is getting exactly what she wants. She's suspicious. We must help Eugenie before the Earl of Leicester arrives. Regina, come with me. Yes, Joanne. My lady, I ask that you not remain outside. Join us. I nodded. We couldn't afford to lag far behind Ralph, Edward, and Edmund. Did Regina plan this whole scene? Soon after, Regina was instructed to wait in the kitchen until called. Joanne and I ascended to the ritual chamber. Edward, Ralph, and Edmund were already inside. Eugenie lay on the bed, black foam still oozing from her mouth. I must begin the prayer. Please do not interrupt me. He approached the bed and began murmuring softly. Ralph, we cannot simply proceed blindly. We must first understand what afflicts her. She may be under a witch's spell. We must never deny a soul the Lord's mercy. We are obliged to help on the path to salvation. Am I not doing the same with your wards? Are they not also tormented by demons? She was visibly displeased by his reply, her gaze burning with fury. As you will. Joanne stood beside Eugenie's bed, fixing the poor woman with a stern glare. Ralph continued his prayer. I held my composure, ignoring the unsettling sensation rising in my chest. Edmund and Edward remained silent, exchanging occasional smiles. Come forth, thou unclean spirit, and depart from this body. Come forth. Her body convulsed violently, and from her mouth, along with the black ooze, frogs began to spill out. What? What's happening here? No idea. Ralph, continuing his prayer, was oblivious to the frogs, as was Joanne. Both seemed aware only of the black slime. Speak the name. Name it! Name it! Eugenie's legs kicked wildly. Her head thrashed from side to side. Ralph pressed on with the prayer, striving to save her, to ease her tormented soul. It was an arduous task. Eugenie failed, flailed, retching and spewing the vile substance. Take Eugenie's hand. I stepped closer to the possessed woman and carefully touched her hand. What are you doing? Shh. Depart, you wicked one, depart. Her nails dug into my palm, and I fought to keep my composure against the excruciating sensation of her grip. There was power within Eugenie, a power akin to mine, but she was no witch, merely overwhelmed by the torment that consumed her. The frogs, someone has cursed her, binding her with a familiar. It's tormenting her from within. Few delved into such practices without purpose. Such enchantments were typically used to enslave the victim's will. Eugenie talked too much. She spread rumors. She must have seen something, or someone. Regina, Desdemona, Cordelia, Joanne, Thomasina, the names fitted through my mind. Yet it felt like I was overlooking someone. Maybe you might take a look at Edward. Edmund. I cast a cold, threatening glance at him and tightened my grip on Eugenie's hand. Please, Ralph, keep going. Without answering, Ralph continued tireless in his prayer. Eugenie began to calm. I whispered no incantations, merely watching. The frogs scurried off, taking the malevolent force with them. Whoever's plan had failed. You have discovered something. After a time, Eugenie drifted into a peaceful sleep. She needs rest. Don't press her for anything just yet. But there can be no objections here. He smiled immediately after, but I couldn't help noting. Goodness is not always as sweet as honey. At times it bears a bitter bite, yet loses not its virtue. My lady, you'll stay here, won't you, to watch over Eugenie? Yes. And you? Joanne's lips curved into a faint smile. She had no desire to stay, and I knew it. That's why I'd asked. I'll need to tend to Christopher Marlowe, of course. Of course, I understand. Were you expecting something else from her? Some time later, Eugenie slept soundly, as though her ordeal had left no mark. As for me, I was restless, unsure how to pass the time. I could unravel what had happened, try to coax something out of Eugenie. But is it worth the risk? Yes. I stepped closer to Eugenie and took her hand. Puff of the curse. Come now, gossip monger, what have you learned? Lillian paced to and fro, watching Lego, praying for love to grow. She spoke of his wit, his charm, his might. What a man he is, such a sight. Lillian, is it? Curious, who is she? And how oddly Eugenie speaks. Though she's known as a scandalous vendor, she dreams of Lego or Iago. Her heart so tender. But he circles round, lost in Desdemona's spell, longing for her, as far as I can tell. So the curse is in rhymes, because the one writing this whole story uses poems to bring a curse to someone. I don't know, perhaps he means her harm, or maybe he seeks to shield her from alarm. Desdemona again. I have nothing more to say, my memory fades away. Someone has bewitched her. Sleep. I stretched the word like a lullaby, and smiled as Eugenie slipped back into slumber. Her sleep continued, but I held no interest in what visions might haunt her dreams. Doing what I could, I eased her suffering with a simple spell. But that was all. I wanted to retreat to my chambers, to live through my grimoire for answers, to speak with my toad, for heaven's sake. The sudden crash of a door flinging open and strange, boisterous cries shattered my plans. Quiet! Not you again. Joanne tried to silence Christopher Marlowe, who had entered with her, but he merely smirked at her attempts. Stand still and look at her. Joanne led him to Eugenie's bedside. Marlowe said nothing, simply began to chuckle. What's wrong with you? Why are you laughing? Then Christopher erupted into outright laughter. I noticed Joanne was frightened. Her eyes darted frantically, fingers fidgeting with the fabric of her dress. Christopher sat on the floor and closed his eyes. Joanne, perhaps some water? She nodded. I filled the pitcher from the basin and handed it to her. Thank you. Joanne, if you are unwell, you may leave me here alone. Joanne hesitated at my whispered offer, though it was clear she wanted to leave. I'm not certain that would be proper. It's unlikely that anything could frighten me after spending that time alone with Queen Claire. Yeah, perhaps you're right. My words shamed her, and she agreed at once. Avoiding Marlowe's gaze, Joanne slipped out of the room. Greetings, my lady. Greetings. Shall I assume you are my new tormentor? I must say, curious one, I saw you watching me. So what? I'm only here to do my job, and you're saying such strange phrases. I understand why you're acting this way. Before speaking further, I tuned in into my instincts. Marlowe was not as simple as he seemed. You. Aye, 'tis I, an actor fine, a true player upon life's stage. Possessed, I am not, yet to survive I donned the guise. He spoke the truth. I felt no foreign presence within him. The role of the possessed. From whom were you fleeing? Haven't you grown tired of pretending? The role of the possessed? Haven't you grown tired of pretending? The role of the possessed. How very inventive of you. You've guessed swiftly, swifter than... I wanted to press him further to uncover whom he meant, but I deliberately paused. Marlowe was vain, basking in their attention. He would tell it all himself once he realized I couldn't care less. You are on the right path. I also understand that your performance is nearing its end. True enough, for I'd not speak so freely were it otherwise. You didn't approach my door by chance, you wished to see me. You who arrived here with Lord Leicester, whom do you truly serve? None of your business. No one. Am I bound to serve someone? Do you think I'm not loyal to England? Your question, Christopher, clearly hints at that. You might be in league with Scotland. Lord Leicester is far too cautious. He wouldn't take such a risk. Besides, would Cecil ever allow it? Cecil, his name is spoken far too often around here. Now that's interesting. Cecil held more of the Queen's trust than anyone else. While her heart might have belonged to Robert Dudley, her counsel came from Cecil. In many ways, he was regarded as second only to her. So, who was speaking of him around there, and why? So, did they frighten you? Are you afraid of Cecil? Are you afraid of Cecil? You have even crafted an entire play, and soon half the town will join the act. First one is possessed, then another. I feared he'd set his sights on me. Your words bear truth, yet who here does not tremble at his name? Cowards abound. Their numbers without end. Once a whisper reached mine ear, a tip-beat, that could have cast me into chains. I hid myself here, scheming my escape. First I donned the guise of the possessed, and fearful Joanne was quick to take the bait. She sought to bring me hence, yet it was I who gleaned the secret from her lips. I stayed silent, not wishing to interrupt him as he drew a knife. What? What the hell? How does he have a knife? She bubbled on, as though in feverish grip. Of one who came before, so young, who then? What stirs her fearful zeal? What gnaws at her? It plagues her soul, those we must play the more, and press her mind until it cannot stand. How cunning, to seek yet another truth, one more dark secret to be claimed by you. Not possessed, no, but a cunning poet still. You speak in verse yourself, and yet no more I know, and thus the dagger rests. But mark me well, fear holds no power here. To kill you would be trifling, no more. They'd think me mad, possessed, and then escaped. Ah, such a tragedy to grace the stage. He began to approach me, still smiling. He did not think I might scream, nor foresee the consequences. He had no idea who I truly was. I will help you escape, but for now, you must remain here. We will work together, and you'll tell me all you learn of Joanne. Christopher laughed in my face. Such naivety. And pray, why should I offer you my aid? It's time for Lenore to act. My scream rang loud and sharp. Christopher nearly dropped the knife in surprise. Quiet you, or I'll slit your throat. The sound of heavy footsteps echoed from the hall. Someone was approaching. Christopher lunged at me, but I had the presence of mind to trip him. He stumbled, and I feigned a fall beside him. Quickly I whispered, I did not enter the chamber by mere chance, as you know full well. Your secret is now mine. I'll help you escape and disappear, but in return you'll accept a role in my production. A tale I weave for this place's needs. Joanne's secrets are no longer yours alone. Christopher looked as if he wished to crawl toward me to respond, but a booming male voice stopped him cold. Marlowe managed only the slightest nod in my direction. From that moment he became my spy. He is now on your side. I don't know how to feel about it. Iago entered the room and seized Marlowe without hesitation. What's going on here? Did he attack you, my lady? He didn't manage to. Thank you for stepping in. I believe he's fine, but it's best to take him away. Of course. Marlowe remained silent, perfectly playing the part of the possessed. Iago led him out, leaving me alone with Eugenie once again. So, this one is only pretending to be possessed. The woman continued to sleep. Soon after, Iago returned, but that time he wasn't alone. Edward and I and a still slightly shaken Joanne were with him. My lady, I believe Eugenie is well enough now. It's best if you come with us. Very well. As we descended to the first floor, I spotted Henry. Henry is in my Todd or Henry, NPC Henry. And Desdemona. NPC Henry, I guess. There should be only one Henry, and it's my Todd. You must go. Desdemona seemed genuinely frightened by something. Why are we all here? What's going on? What's going on? We must get to the bottom of what's afflicted Eugenie. Christopher Marlowe told me he sees nothing unusual in Eugenie. It's more likely she's been bewitched, and we must catch the scoundrel responsible. Desdemona, you've been seen often with Eugenie. We are friends. She's been helping me settle in. She cannot confirm your words right now, nor does it seem like you were truly friends. Let's not forget Thomasina. He brought forth the trembling woman, her eyes brimming with tears. It wasn't me. I've barely even spoken with her. Please believe me, I did nothing. And Desdemona did? Perhaps you're the one slandering her. After all, she was welcomed into the family. The very family you serve. How fiercely Iago defends Desdemona. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm innocent. Ask Mr. Clifford. Oh no, you could have beguiled him too. Robert Dudley, the Earl of Leicester, has already arrived. And here we are amidst such chaos. What a disgrace. We'll suspend Thomasina from her duties and have her serve here under our watchful eye. If she's found guilty after the rituals, she'll be punished. I'm innocent, innocent! But no one was listening anymore. They dragged her away, ignoring her protests. We'll send Regina to Mr. Clifford. She's proven herself capable. Yeah, more than capable. Regina got what she wanted after all. Well, all the better for me. Regina will serve Aurora going forward. All present exchanged knowing glances. Wait, who served Aurora? Was it Thomasina? I don't remember. Aurora is Lenore's pupil. Henry immediately moved closer to Desdemona, taking her hand and whispering in her ear before leading her away. But Edward's voice suddenly cut through the silence. Yes, because you see, Regina might want to get her hands on the book also, and the book is in Aurora's house. So her plan worked. So she might have some magic powers too. But Edward's voice suddenly cut through the silence. Mr. Edmund Hastings can keep an eye on Desdemona. I've spoken with him. He's acquainted with the Earl of Leicester, served under Sir Francis Drake. He's a seasoned man. He's willing to assist, and his presence wouldn't raise any suspicions with Lord Leicester. My lady, I believe you know Mr. Hastings. What's your opinion? You're right, I can assist him in this. Excellent, thank you for your cooperation. You have awakened Edmund's vanity and unlocked a bonus sin. Nice. For now, I suggest we step outside and finally greet the Earl of Leicester. So what's the bonus sin with Edmund? And so we did. We heeded Edward's words and followed him. The Earl of Leicester stood with his back to us, seemingly admiring the town. Edmund was at Dudley's side. It's a pleasure to see you all again. Lords, my greetings to you. My lord, is there anything I can assist you with? Restore order. This morning an execution newly took place, but were you certain of the accused guilt? Were you so eager to send someone to the gallows as a gift to me? I will not tolerate such recklessness. The Queen does not forgive mistakes. Robert's fury was palpable, and the rest stood in silence, unable to find the words to respond. There will be no place for the wicked here. We will put an end to these murders, to those who conceal the truth, and those who remain idle when they could act. Forgive us, my lord, we will. I did not give leave for you to speak. But the Queen must be reassured. She must see Stratford's progress. What else is your little town known for besides its murders? Speak up, remain silent, address Edward. Speak up, address Edward. Mr. Edward is a learned man, he might know something. I believe, my lord, you were referring to the theatre and William Shakespeare. You are aware, of course, that he hails from here and is currently in town. Yes, the theatre. Shakespeare hails from here. After all, we'll stage one of his plays. No one argued with Dudley, only nodded obediently. I, however, drifted into my own thoughts, glancing around. Not long ago, I'd seen the gallows being erected on this very same street. Soon, the same townsfolk who had scorned art would build a theatre stage. It all felt more and more like a play. Not just mine, but a shared intrigue, in which we would each play a role. Well, it is a play, and you're a character in it. Sometime later. Evening. My chambers, just a Toad and me. Perfect. That night I planned to venture into the forest to uncover more. Neither phantoms nor anything else could frighten me. Quark, so you finally arrived. Did you miss me? I've been resting. Is that so? Well then, I won't take you to the woods tonight. The prospect of clinging to your chest again doesn't excite me. Henry, who are you kidding? But without me, you'll have a much harder time. Plus, I could always distract someone who might also have business in the woods tonight. Wonderful. You've convinced me into bringing you along. There was a sudden knock at the door. Understood. Hiding now. He darted under the bed as I opened the door. Lord Leicester, what brings you here at such a late hour? Passion for conversing with you? I remember your instructions, and so does Edmund. I'm working to uncover what's truly happening here. I trust you'll pick up the pace. Naturally, my lord. I must take my leave. It wouldn't be proper to linger in your chambers. It's not proper to even knock at that hour. I'm counting on your discretion. Of course. I won't let you down. I said it with a sincere yet slightly mischievous smile. And then I paused, pondering. What was it about Robert that made the Queen love him so? He was her dear Robbie, as everyone knew and often whispered about. Of course he won't, it's not in your best interest. He smirked, yet his demeanor remained unchanged. Stern and calculating, but at the same time, you're a fine actress, Roxanne. Who here isn't? Everyone has their secrets, including you. Perhaps one day you'll uncover at least one of them. If I used magic, I could do so now. Best learn to live without it, Roxanne. Who are you without your magic? Do you know how to be without? I didn't have the chance to retort. Lord Leicester had already left my chambers. Are you ready to uncover his secret? Some time passed, and night fell. It was time to slip out and attempt to get to the forest, to go unnoticed once again. Fortunately, Robert Dudley's arrival worked in my favor. Joanne stayed out of sight and wouldn't be following me. Hopefully no one else would either. Otherwise, I'd be forced to use magic. Well then, are you ready? Yes, it's time to leave. Time indeed, but first, would you care to do something wonderful for wonderful me? Modesty is clearly not one of your virtues. So, what is you want? A kiss, a bath, an outfit? Should we kiss? Nah. An outfit. I think he would look cute. Clever witch, I adore all things beautiful. And how does a connoisseur like yourself enjoy the body of a toad? It's a magnificent body, I'll have you know. Show it! Fine, here we go. I waved my hands, casting a spell I had learned long ago, and conjured a little outfit for him. Oh my god, he's so cute. The little red cloak. Fabulous. Okay. The toadish connoisseur is pleased. Everything for my Toad. I couldn't help but laugh, though there was no time for amusement. Let's match our Toad and also be in a red cloak. It was truly time to get ready. No, I just changed. Okay, not bad. Onyx. Vesper. Oh, okay, this is a hint to the W time catcher story. Nova. This one I don't like. Erica. Anika. We'll go with just 3. Onyx. Okay, so it took forever to load. So we're gonna go with the free one and just continue. And just choose the red cloak, because I wanted to match with the frog anyway. Okay, I don't know, the free one, because something's wrong with the servers, I guess, and it's taking an eternity to load. Continue. I was ready. Even the toad had adorned himself in a mantle. It was time to set out. We walked through the dim, shadowy hallways. Henry, as always, had tucked himself into the pocket of my dress. At last, we stepped outside and encountered no one, until suddenly, someone grabbed my arm. "Where are you headed in the dead of night, sorceress?" "What of you? Could it be that sleep no longer holds any charm for you without me?" He smiled and lightly brushed his fingers against my hand. "We are not in that kind of relationship, Edmund. I'd long to see you in a dream, but knowing you, might it not turn into a nightmare?" "I'm going to the forest. If you want to know me better, you're welcome to follow." "You're going to come along anyway." "Do you think I'd leave you alone?" "Of course you wouldn't." We walked alone, save for the toad, speaking scarcely a word. At last, we found ourselves in the forest. The stillness of the night was broken only by the soft rustle of grass beneath our feet. It was clear we were alone there. "Don't interfere with me now. Let us uncover his true nature, though, if he's cunning, he might obscure the trail." I hope I don't scare easily. I stepped forward and began to whisper. Path of Witchcraft. I discreetly drank a potion that would allow me to see a little more. And then I saw shadows, blurred figures. They swirled in chaotic motion, whispering fragmented words. I strained to catch their meaning. They must be chastened, the truth unveiled. It seemed that I could sense the murdered young man, or rather I was seeing through his eyes. Nearly hidden in the bushes, nearby, hidden in the bushes, Cordelia and Christopher Marlowe spoke. "Decide, fair one, your part in this grand play." Goodness, and all in verse again. I wanted to hold onto the vision, to discern the face of the mysterious figure cloaked in darkness. But alas, I failed, as if something tore me away, turning me inside out. I surfaced from the vision and found myself sprawled on the grass. Edmund immediately... I don't know, is it like a love choice or not? Help me up. Let's keep it cool. He offered me his hand without a single gibe. If he were a sorcerer, why would he react like that? Though in a way I understood, for I had acted the same way myself. I feigned when it served my purpose. "You're out of your mind." "So are you?" We looked at each other and burst out laughing. If anyone in town knew that we were laughing there in the woods, they'd surely have thought us mad. Perhaps we were. The next morning, my day began with the thoughts nagging. It feels like you're not here breaking hearts. It feels like you're out here breaking hearts, not searching for the artifact. I'm trying, but it seems the artifact isn't in the forest. Or maybe I'm being misled. Did you sense anything in the forest? Anything about Edmund? A fiery, passionate man staring at you with his mouth agape. Not a single chance. Maybe he's truly a sorcerer who's mastered the art of disguise. Or a helpless pirate you keep scaring off. Wonderful. Well, back into my pocket you go, while I scrub floors in one of the rooms. Keep an eye on Joanne. Fine, Croak. Not like I have a choice. Yeah, you don't. Joanne was clearly out of sorts again. She muttered incessantly, flinging rugs with little care. I couldn't fathom why I was burdened with such menial tasks. Joanne constantly remarked on how delicate my hands were. I think she hoped I would lose patience and use magic. Surely she suspected me, though she was too afraid to admit it outright. Luckily, for the moment, I was alone. At least for a brief while. Soon after, Regina entered. Good day, my lady. Good day. I see you've achieved your goal. You will be working elsewhere now. You're craftier than I thought. Oh, not at all. I only told the truth. Thomasina truly could have done that to Eugenie. Lying. My lady, please, don't think more poorly of me. Such a lamb, innocent lamb. Of course not. After all, I'm the one who orchestrated it all. I won't. I'm glad you'll be at Aurora's side now. I'll be happy to teach you as well. That's wonderful news. May I help you? No need, I can manage myself, but thank you. After a while, Regina left and I was alone once more. I scrubbed the floors again and again, my thoughts wandering back to magic, trying to figure it out. Could I do anything at all without my powers? I can. I shouted it as though into the void, but I was not so lucky. You can, my lady, you can. He was standing behind me. I quickly rose to my feet and turned to face him. You? Has something happened? Lord Leicester was looking for you. He'll be waiting for you at the tavern in 2 hours. Very well. Do you need any help? Yes, please. Don't take forever to load. I chuckled and handed him a cleaning rag. I was sure Edward would catch my jest, though in truth I merely wished to vex him. I liked the way he furrowed his brow. Very well, my lady. Who am I to refuse someone brought here by the Earl of Leicester himself? He mocked, he doubted, yet still he strove to be courteous, much as I often did myself. But don't lag behind, my lady, or Joanne will never sing your praises. Of course. We sat on the floor, scrubbing away as though competing to see who could do it faster and better. I felt Edward's gaze on me, filled with curiosity. It seemed that he was trying to read me, or perhaps he was already starting to figure me out. Funny that you should actually agree. I had suspected he might, but it still surprised me. It seemed more in his nature to scold me, or deliver a sharp remark first, and only afterward. Well, Edward had the knack for surprises. Our eyes met, and our hands nearly touched. We silently studied each other. I wished I knew what Edward was thinking. What if I told you it was just for fun? Why the pause? Will you tell Joanne you helped me? Come now, don't deprive me of my noble act. Simply promise me one thing. And what might I do for you? Dance the Volta with me someday. The Volta? In Stratford-upon-Avon? Exactly. I know you're daring enough for such a thing. He stood, a faint smirk tugging at his lips. You're right. Your relationship has improved. Okay, nice. An hour later. I took a stroll as John had allowed me a moment to clear my head before my meeting with Robert Dudley. Lately, there had been something decidedly off about Joanne. She seemed far too anxious. But for the moment, it was the least of my concerns. So that Marlowe said that Joanne will be going mad. In verse, if you remember, in this episode earlier. So that's what is happening. As often happened when I was lost in thought, I encountered a familiar face. Good day, my lady. Good day. Out for a walk as well. Trying to, while I'll have some free time. Aren't you unsettled by the temporary changes in town? All these preparations for the festivities, the theatre performances? Not at all. You see, my lady, I view the world differently than someone like Henry might. Henry the Toad? To love, not hate. To inspire, not eradicate. To help, not frighten. That's how I strive to live. But what of all the murders and oddities? The murders must, of course, be dealt with. As for the rest, he sighed deeply. My ancestor dealt with such things, haunting the unholy, but in time he became like those he pursued. He immersed himself so deeply in his mission that he couldn't find the line between aiding people and harming them. Sometimes a criminal in the eyes of many is merely a frightened person who can be saved. Sometimes a gift is just that, a gift, not a curse. I felt my heart beat a little faster. I've heard of your ancestor, and I thank you for never asking me about him. I imagine Joan has told you. She even took the text he wrote and gave it to someone. To Aurora's mother, perhaps. I hope it causes no harm. I couldn't fathom how he could say such things. He was so different from the others, and it felt almost unsettling. And if you were a sorcerer? I'm not, fortunately, nor am I likely ever to be. I have no need for it. What I need, I pursue. He smiled, and I knew Ralph hadn't lied to me. And as I stood there, I remembered Morgana. The cave, her grotto. Back then, I was just starting to get used to her, to everything. I was just starting, to magic. Come on, Ice Princess, you can do it. She tossed a snowball at me and chuckled softly. In those moments, she seemed different, almost familiar, not stern or imposing. Not so stern. Just a moment, I remember your lessons, I just need to focus. Yes, remember who you are, be proud of it. I'm trying. Gradually snowflakes began to settle over the grotto. I felt both childlike joy and fear. Will I ever get used to this? I curled in on myself, wrapping my arms around my shoulders. Morgana moved closer and embraced me. She held me, her hands tender as they brushed over my shoulders. You're so talented. You'll grow accustomed to it. You'll help yourself and me. Let fools think of those like you as monsters. to me, you are beautiful. You're a beautiful monster. My beautiful one. Your relationship has improved. Okay. Ralph and I continued our walk until we stopped by a small balcony. Yes, this is the Romeo and Juliet's balcony. No? It looks like it. Because the real one is in Italy. It was part of an abandoned manor dusted with golden leaves. Ralph was saying something about an upcoming masquerade ball. But I wasn't listening because suddenly in my mind verses began to stir. I whispered them to myself, unable to grasp their meaning. How did they relate to me? Why did I remember them? It is nor hand, no foot, no arm, nor face, or be some other name belonging to a man. What's in a name, that which we call a rose? By any other word would smell as sweet. Romeo, doff thy name, and for thy name, which is no part of thee, take all myself. This is from Romeo and Juliet play. That's it? Okay. Okay, this one I think is going to get 4 stars from me. Complete episode. So these are my stats. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!